Welcome to another episode of Tips and Tricks. I'm Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com. And in this episode, I thought I would share with you my favorite things to use when I'm jelly plate printing. Now, obviously, if you're going to jelly plate print, you got to have a jelly plate. So that's what I have here. This is the 8x10 jelly plate. This is probably this one and the round plate, the 8-inch round, are my two favorites that I go back to over and over. Some people don't care for this particular size because in America, the 8.5 by 11 paper cardstock is kind of our standard, and you end up with a white border around the edge. That doesn't bother me at all because I just use parts of it anyway. I rarely use a whole piece of jelly print paper or cardstock, so that doesn't bother me. I like the size of this, and so that's why I use it. It's one of my favorite things. So that is the 8x10 rectangular plate. Then there is a 6-inch square plate, and that's what this is, 6-inch square. And this is really good for, I use it when I print fabric to make square designs and so forth, and so I like it for that a lot. I don't reach for this one quite as often as I do the other ones, but I still really like the square format of it for a lot of different things. Then the round plates, there's an 8-inch round, a 6-inch round, and a 4-inch round. So you got the mama, you got the mama, the papa, and the baby, and the round jelly plates. And I have to say, I really like all of these because all of these, I'm attracted to circles and round shapes and spirals and things like that anyway. And this is a nice size because I can put it on a piece of plexiglass like this. This is just big enough to hold my 8-inch round plate, and I can use it as a stamp if I want to. I mean, it's just barely big enough to hold it. It really works better. This particular plate works better for my, trying to get the reflection off, sorry. Works better for the 6-inch, but I can make it work with that 8-inch round if I need to. But that way you can work with it as a stamp. So you can turn it over and you can stamp on fabric or cardstock or paper, what have you. I also use that 8-inch round on this big piece of plexiglass. So this is just a big old piece of plexiglass that I've edged with duct tape so that the sharp edges don't bother me, don't, you know, cut my hand and stuff. So anyway, 8-inch round. The 6-inch round, this works really well on that smaller piece of plexiglass I showed you a minute ago, and this little tiny one works great to use on a stamp mount. Dirty as it may be, but it works really well. You can put it on there and you can stamp right onto whatever your project is. You do need to have something to put your jelly plate on. Don't put it on a wood table or you will not be happy about that because it will affect the surface of your table. So you gotta have it protected with something. A craft mat like this is, or a piece of plexiglass or something. This is one of my other favorite things, and this is gloves in a bottle shielding lotion. I always put this on, that's if I remember, but I try to always remember to put this on before I start doing the jelly plate printing because it protects my skin and you get your hands really messy, and it just helps keep the pigments from penetrating your skin. So I really like that a lot. Of course, you got to have paint. So there's different kinds of paints. Things come in tubes, things come in bottles. You know, there's the Dina Wakley mixed media heavy body paint. So you can use heavy body paints, you can use craft paints, you can use all different kinds of paints. I've only worked with acrylic paints with it, so that is what I can speak to. I also have used it with ink, and so the dye-based inks really work really well with it. That's a fun technique to do, is to use ink with your jelly plates too. You need a good brayer, and then texture tools. I really enjoy texture tools. So this is a hot pad from a discount store. These are catalyst tools. This is a catalyst wedge. This is a Martha Stewart striping tool. There's another catalyst tool. You can tell they've all been used, can't you? And then stencils. I like stencils. So I use the texture tools that I just showed you, and I use stencils. Those are my two main things that I tend to use when I'm jelly plate printing. So here is my favorite size is 12 by 12 is to use, because then this works for anything, because you can use this, put this on your surface, and you can print through it with the smaller jelly plates, or you can put this on top of the bigger jelly plate, the 8 by 10, and print through it that way. So that's just one of my preferences. And then some of these big masks like this one, I love this. I use this with the little jelly plates. I use it with the big one. I just find them very, very versatile. And then the stencils like this with these little pieces, these work great to use with your big jelly plate or the little one, because you can take that little 4-inch guy and you can print down through these little ones, and the patterns are small, which is really nice. So I am particularly fond of things like that. The masks like these, the Balzer bits, and let's see what else I have here. Here's another one. These work great on your jelly plate. They have some really beautiful designs. So anything that is a mask that's an irregular shape like that, I love those to put on the plate to get some really interesting effects. Then to clean everything up, if you like now I don't use this on the plate itself, but I use this to clean my brayer, my stencils, the texture tools. I really like the Murphy's Oil soap. And you can take that, put it in a big plastic tub or a big plastic pan, and I use maybe half a cup the pan's maybe half full of water. It's like a kitty litter pan, if you know what I'm talking about, a big plastic pan. Maybe half a cup of this, and soak all your stuff in it till the water gets real sludgy, and then all the paint and stuff just comes off so easily. It's amazing how quickly that stuff will come off. Now you have to soak it for a while, and the longer your pieces have collected acrylic paint, the longer it's going to take to loosen it and have it come off. But I've had it take off acrylic paint that's been on stencils for months and months and months, and it's really thick. So I think that works just so well. And I didn't bring one over here to show you, but if you don't have the Ranger Scrubbie to take the paint off of your skin when you're done, you need to get one of those. It looks like a little piece of kind of like styrofoam, like gray styrofoam, but it's a Ranger Craft Scrubbie. The combination of you putting this stuff on before you start working and then using that Craft Scrubbie with some liquid soap afterward will keep your hands looking really nice instead of like you're an artist. So if that's important to you, that's a tip for you. So I hope you've gotten some tips and tricks that might help you with your jelly plate printing, or if you're just getting started, give you some ideas of where to start. And you know what? Remember to get creative today, because it's easy, and I'll see you next time.